Welcome to our channel. My name is Nick, your drag professor.
I'm Robert, your drag apprentice.
And this is Drag-Cademy. Make sure to like,
leave a comment down below,
subscribe,
and click the notification bell
so you don't miss out on a single episode. Wake up, mistress. This is not nap time, this is class time.
All right, let's start.
So today we are covering a very popular topic, getting stoned. Very popular
I love
these days. Me too. But unfortunately that's not what I'm talking about.
What?
However, this is something else that you also have a bit of experience with. Rhinestones.
Oh, I love rhinestoning.
Yes, we know you do. So, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about rhinestoning to get you off to your blingiest, most extravagant rhinestoning projects. So, what do you know about how rhinestones are sized?
I know that there is a lot of shapes.
There are shapes, yes.
And there are a lot of sizes.
Yep, that is what we're talking about, sizes.
Sizes from big and small to medium and small.
Small, yep. Yes, well, the unit in which we measure stones, you'll see referred to as SS. So SS stands for stone size. And it's the unit of measurement we measure stones in. So, if you were to look at something like this, you'd see there's smaller stones here, and then the larger stones here. The stone here would be considered an SS20. I also have a bag here, and a bag here of SS20. They are your most standard stone. If you don't know what size to get SS20. They're going to be the best bang for your buck with a decent sized stone. Going under is for smaller, more detailed work, and a lot of nail stuff is like SS16 or 12. And in costumes, if it's slightly bigger, SS30s are also popular, but they're a bit chunkier.
I would say this looks like the eye of a spider, a tarantula.
Interesting. Now that you know the types of stones and you know what size of stone, we now need to glue the stone. So there are about 3 options you have for gluing. There's traditional E6000, which mine is all bundled up. You can see E6000. There's also Gem Tack, which I don't have. And then there's sort of the middle option, which is E6000 Fab Refuse. Now, E6000 is a very strong glue that is toxic and will slowly erode whatever it's on over time. So on garments, it will very slowly over a period of years start to erode the fabric and is not great for long term. Gem Tack will not destroy the fabric at all, but sometimes it can leave shiny, clear like circles where the stone was. And it's harder to apply because it's not tacky as fast, so you cannot move the garment as easily. Personally, E6000 Fab Refuse is the easiest way and the most effective way to glue on stones because it comes in a tip naturally. When I used to use regular E6000, I would put it in clear blunt tip syringes so I could easily put dots of glue. But I use this now where it already comes to a point, and this glue has been optimized to be as friendly to fabric as possible. So it has the friendliness of fabric of Gem Tack, but the strength of E6000, and the applicator that I would typically use with E6000 before this existed. So this is the best.
The best of both worlds.
Yes.
It's the Hannah Montana.
Yeah, what's your experience like using this?
I like it. It can get a little messy, but that's even with that, you know?
Right.
Whenever you're crafting, it's always gonna get messy.
True. Yeah, definitely.
And it's pretty easy to get off.
Yeah, it's not hard to clean up messes, so E6000 is my recommended glue. Now you know what glue, but there's also now the issue of transporting the stone from whatever container it's in onto the glue. So we also have several tools for that. A lot of people think to use tweezers, but I don't find tweezers to be optimal. I think they are subpar compared to the next options. You have traditional wax pens, which can be like a pencil like this. They also see little things that look kind of like Q-tips, but they have bundles of wax on the tip. And that can be a cheap option. And the wax will stick to the stone and I'll like pick it up and put it down. And this one is one that will work as you sharpen the pencil, so this will last a long time. But the ideal tool is a crystal katana. Now, crystal katana is the original brand to produce these, but now they're made by cheaper producers, so they're not all crystal katanas, that's the brand. But they have a pointed wax tip on this side, and then they have a metal tip on this side, and this comes in handy quite often when you're adjusting the stones and trying to have them lay nice.
And cleaning off excess.
True, yep, taking it off. Now this one is very well used, and you can replace the tip with replaceables that they can either buy separately or they usually come with one, and you can see how much has been used. So these tools I suggest as the best tools to apply your stones to your E6000 fab refuse. Now, stones obviously come in several different qualities, and this is something that I did not know and could not find information on that easily, but there are about 3 tiers that you should worry about. Now, these type of stones, you'll see the silver on the underside is very shiny, are acrylic stones. They're plastic, and you should never use them in any costuming because most glues that we'll use erode this plastic backing and remove the refraction of the stone, and they just aren't that shiny, and it's just plastic. So these are good for like crafting,
yeah,
but not for any costuming or cosmetics. Up from there, you have stones like this, which can be made of resin, and they typically have black on the back, which is the hot fix. Now, hot fix stone has adhesive pre-attached to the back, and ideally you would lay it out on a garment however you want the stones. Lay a piece of cloth down and use an iron to melt the glue of the hot fix onto the garment. But sometimes in that process things shift and the glue isn't perfect. Up from there we have glass stones, which are the best type of stones to be using and what you should shoot to use. And this includes where you're going to find like Swarovskis and anything like that. But you don't have to go to that price range. On the back of this one, you'll see it's matte and silver, which is a non-hot fix stone, which is ideal because hot fix also has the downside that sometimes the glue will stick to the garment, but the stone will separate from the glue, leaving a black circle where you want your stone, and that is not a good look, especially if it's not on a black garment. And I will include a link in the description for where I would recommend you get cheap but very shiny glass stones for the price that you would be usually paying for a hot fix stone. Okay, so now you know how to apply the stone. I want to show you 3 examples of ways that you could choose to decorate something. I know there's a lot of other options, and you especially always, I think, have cool ideas on how to rhinestone things in less conventional methods. But a very traditional way of rhinestoning something is to do a random scatter, as you can see this garment has. The stones are randomly scattered across the garment with no real particular pattern, so it'll just make the garment glisten as light hits it on stage. Then, if you look at this garment, we have both on the sleeve and here outlining specifically of an edge of the garment. Or we also have simple emphasis on the buttons, and then we have these bottom parts covered. So this is essentially outlining the shapes and lines on the garment that are already there and just adding bling. So this isn't going to give you general sheen. This is going to sort of upgrade the look of your garment, because this is going to look like more part of your garment, whereas that's going to look sort of like just a change in texture. But this can make things look much more expensive very easily. And now the last kind is to create your own shapes. As you can see on this, it's not specifically following a line. As it goes down the chest here, you can see it's more creative and interpretive of this pattern, but this is just looking at the fabric and creating shapes that are flattering and enhancing. Now obviously this isn't quite done, they're not quite even, so this has a bit of growth you can have to be maxed. This has some growth to hit max potential, still work in progress, but the shaping on it, which was done by a friend of ours, is beautiful and really enhances the shape of the body, because you can use stones not to just enhance the garment, but also to then enhance the shape of the body when it's on. And with that, those are the 3 types of stoning I wanted to show you. There's a whole lot more. There's stuff like you like to do with creating shapes or pictures. Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of little tips or tricks when rhinestoning?
Yeah, definitely let it dry before moving your stuff. Stone on a flat surface. You don't need a lot of glue.
No.
So a little goes a long way, because if you do a giant dollop, then you have to like clean a lot.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of all like my mistakes that I did and like learned.
Right, and we'll probably come back in a separate tutorial actually showing you some rhinestoning, so you can see hands-on, and you'll see some other elements that you don't see here.
And nails. I do a lot of sewing and nails.
True.
So we can do.
But with that, that is the end of this episode, and we will see you next week. Bye.